In the headlines, gunmen kill lawyer in Bungudu local government area of Zamfara state. Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, wants killers of a UI professor arrested. NEMA issues flood alert, says 14 states may record heavy rainfall. And on the foreign scene, 15 dead as heavy rains lash southwest China. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. And now the news in detail. The Nigerian Bar Association Zamfara State branch has confirmed the gruesome murder of its colleague and welfare secretary Ahmed Muhammad Abubakar, popularly known as Ahmed Kotorkoshi, by gunmen. Now, a statement signed by the branch chairman, Junaidu Abubakar, said the incident occurred on Wednesday morning when the assassins invaded the deceased's residence along Mada Road in Kotorkoshi town of Bungudu local government area of the state. On hearing his wife screaming, Ahmed Esquire opened his door and came out. Then the killers attacked him with a machete and dragged him to the back of the house, inflicted more machete cuts on his body until he died. The NBA branch described their deceased colleague, Ahmed, as a good person, an active member of the branch, and a humble and easygoing man. The deceased was survived by 2 wives, children, and others. Earlier, we spoke to Daily Trust reporter in Zamfara, Shehu Yari, and he gives us an update on the killing.
Police in Zamfara State have launched investigation into the killing of a lawyer identified as Barrister Ahmed Kotorkoshi. Barrister Kotorkoshi, who was buried in the early morning of Wednesday, was killed after some assailants stormed his residence in Kotorkoshi town of Bungudu local government area of the state. The attackers did not take anything from the deceased house, prompting speculation that the killing might be an assassination. The deceased brother, identified as Bello, told our correspondent that the assailants also kidnapped the brother of the victim. Meanwhile, 2 farmers were shot dead a few kilometers or 2 kilometers away from the town of Kotorkoshi after they went to work on their farms. Their bodies were recovered this morning by a group of vigilantes and some security officials this morning.
Thank you, Shehu Yari, for that update. Now moving on, Academic Staff Union of Universities has asked the Acting Inspector General of Police, Olukayode Egbetokun, to deploy his tactical team to assist the Oyo State Command in unmasking the killers of Professor Okpeyemi Isaac Ajewole. ASU Chairman, University of Ibadan Chapter, Professor Ayo Akinwole, made the call after a valedictory congress in honor of the slain professor. The report.
Barely a month after his death, the Academic Staff Union of University of Ibadan says it is not happy that the killers of their colleague and their motives are yet to be unearthed by the police. Professor Akinwole said the Acting Inspector General of Police should take passionate interest in the case and deploy the necessary technical expertise to unravel the mystery surrounding the killing so that the evil people will be made to face the wrath of the law. Professor Omole said that though the university community grieves over the death, it will celebrate the gallantry and contributions the late Professor Isaac Ajewole made to the academic community and the union.
Our heart is heavy. We cannot hide our anger and frustration at the government and the rulers of this world for allowing such a productive life to be cut short. A committed comrade was taken away from us so too soon and in such a heartless manner by the never-do-well of the society.
If we had lived 8 years, maybe it wouldn't have had this impact. Yes, it took its exit when the ovation was loudest, but it's the manner that we are bothered about.
A clergy, Reverend Samson Ajetomobi, in his message, condemned the barbaric murder of the late university professor, praying that God will fish out his assailants.
God hates hands that can pull the trigger against an innocent man going home from his office. Don't tell me the nation is not secure. We've all been living here. We all know it is not secure. Is that okay? And all those who kill other people will not go innocent.
Professor Ajewole was gruesomely gunned down by yet-to-be-identified assailants on Monday, June 5th in Ibadan, Oyo State.
Still on security, the House of Representatives has called on the federal government to address the incessant bandits attacks in communities of Dut Amma Kurfi Federal Constituency of Katsina State. This followed the adoption of a motion by Amilu Babale at plenary on Wednesday. Presenting the motion, the member said that Tashariaro, Koza, Kudewa villages, Geza, Sauyawa, Tamawa, and Maileda communities within Kurfi and Dut Amma local government areas of Katsina State were attacked by bandits on June 12, 2023, resulting in the death of scores of innocent villagers while many were injured. He said the incessant attacks by bandits have led to low productivity by farmers, thus aggravating the existing food insecurity in the affected communities. According to him, majority of the youth in the affected areas could end up with little or no income, thus worsening youth restiveness. The House therefore resolved to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate the matter and report back in 6 weeks for further legislative action. A video of how the outlawed indigenous people of Biafra enforced sit-at-home order in Ebonyi State on Tuesday has emerged. The gunmen were seen in the video shooting in the air to force people to comply with the order meant to secure the release of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the group. A visually impaired man, Francis Ugachukwu, is remanded in Kirikiri Correctional Center for allegedly defiling a 13-year-old girl. Justice Abiola Sholadoye of Ikeja Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Court remanded the defendant pending hearing and filing of his bail application. The trial judge adjourned the case until October 18 for hearing of bail application and commencement of trial. News Agency of Nigeria reports that Francis Ugachukwu was arraigned on one-count charge of defilement. The defendant, however, pleaded not guilty to the charge. According to the State Counsel, Abimbola Abolade, the defendant committed the offense sometimes in November last year at number 16 Karim Giwa Street, Abule Osun, Ojo in Lagos. According to the prosecution, the offense contravened the provisions of Section 137 of the Criminal Laws of Lagos State 2015. Ugachukwu will face life imprisonment if found guilty. The National Emergency Management Agency says that 14 states and 31 communities may witness heavy rainfall leading to flooding from July 4th to 8th across the country. This is contained in a statement signed by Territorial Coordinator NEMA, Lagos Territorial Office, Ibrahim Farinloye. Farinloye urged relevant stakeholders within the states concerned to take precautionary measures to forestall loss of lives and property. He listed the states and communities as Langtang and Shandam in Plateau State, Somaila, Tudunwada in Kano State, Shagari, Goronyo, and Selame in Sokoto State, and as well as Okwe in Delta State. Others include Kaduna State, Kachia, Akwa Ibom State, Ukpenekang, Adamawa, Mubi, Demsa, Song, Mayo Belwa, Jamaica, and Yola. In Katsina State, it's Katsina, Jibia, Kaita, and Bindawa. He also added Wara, Yelwa, and Gwandu in Kebbi State, while Zamfara has Shinkafi and Gumi. Borno, Jigawa, Kwara, and Niger states are also included. Farinloye thanked the Flood Early Warning System Central Hub of the Federal Ministry of Environment, Abuja, for sharing the information. The three-man panel of tribunal headed by Justice Victor Oviaoye on Tuesday admitted all INEC forms from polling units and local government areas of Kaduna State tendered as exhibits by the People's Democratic Party and its governorship candidate Isa Ashiru. The petitioners, through one of its counsels, Ayodele Adewale SAN, also submitted voters' registers for 40 polling units with reference to Kaduna South local government as part of its exhibits. The report.
The PDP Council also submitted exhibit from Giwa, Chikun, Igabi, Kachia, Kaduna North local government areas. They also had exhibit from Kaduna South, Kagarku, Kubau, Kudang, Lere, Sabongari, and Zaria, respectively.
The day's proceedings was to enable petitioners to tender the certified true copies of the exhibits that we intend to use in prosecution of the petition. So we have done that substantially. The documents are in, and this now gives us a platform, for the other documents that we are expecting from INEC on subpoena to come before the courts, and then that will now pave the way for the hearing of oral evidence in the petition.
Earlier, the counsel to INEC and Obasani argued that the petitioners' counsel had breached the court order, which instructed that all counsels should meet for uptaking of the exhibit before the presentation.
The court resumed continuation of hearing of the matter today at the instance of the petitioners. Like they have 6 weeks within which to open and close their case. And today they've been able to assemble quite a number of documents which they tendered through the bar. And we have indicated our intention to oppose to certain documents.
The case has been adjourned till 10th July 2023 for the continuation of the presentation of exhibit by the petitioners' counsel. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
You're watching Trust News Update, coming up after the break. Decaying medical facility worries community. Stay with us.
That's great. It's good to see you.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us on Trust News Update. Here's a recap of some of our top stories. We told you that gunmen killed lawyer in Bungudu local government area of Zamfara State. You also heard that Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, wants killers of University of Ibadan professor arrested. Moving to health, medical services have been paralyzed across all 19 general hospitals, including Delhatu Arab Specialist Hospital, also known as DASH in Lafia, owned by Nasarawa state government, following a 5-day warning strike declared by the Nigerian Medical Association in the state. The state's NMA hinted that the strike will commence at 8 a.m. on Wednesday, July 5th, and will end on Monday, July 10th, 2023 at 8 a.m. Reports say the association had earlier issued a 21-day strike ultimatum to the Nasarawa state government to press home its demands. The state's NMA expressed worry over the non-implementation of promotion for doctors and annual salary increments, non-implementation of minimum wage, and consequential adjustments. Non-implementation of the reviewed hazard allowance and the accrued 17 months arrears, inadequate manpower and overwork of doctors, high burden of taxation on doctors and medical residency training funds.
From that 13th of June to the end of the ultimatum on the 3rd of July, which was on Monday, we met with the government committee chaired by the deputy governor twice, and in all the conversation, the impression, all the state members that attended that meeting, and also most especially it is our Congress, what we presented it to them is that government were not sincere. Because if you say yes, you're willing to do this, and then the basic minimum that when you say you're willing to do this is to just document and give that approval so that people know that yes, you have actually approved, you have agreed with what you are telling us that you want to do. It is not even there. Then clearly government is just like trying to just play over us, our intelligence, and continue, because like I've mentioned, let me just mention one aspect of it, the hazard allowance that we're talking about. How much is the money?
Meanwhile, a pregnant woman who was booked by the hospital for cesarean session died while waiting for doctors to attend to her. Our correspondent who visited DASH in Lafia saw patients, particularly those in critical conditions, being evacuated to private facilities and nearby states for continuation of medical attention. With the present administration in Edo State winding up next year, experts in different sectors are reviewing the journey so far in various sectors. Now, in the area of health, observers are worried over the decaying and abandoned medical facilities, which should have been most beneficial to people in rural communities. One of such structures is the General Hospital in Agbede, a rural community in Esako local government area of Edo State. Trustee Nafisa Bello, who visited the health facility, has more.
Approaching the once bustling environment, it was observed that overgrown trees were almost taking over the health facility, which is supposed to be operating on 24-hour basis. Sharing their views on the sorry state of the only government hospital in their locality, these concerned citizens said one of the major areas that needs to be addressed is the deployment of health workers to the health facility, which has become a nightmare due to its poor state. They also disclosed that efforts to get the attention of the state government for rehabilitation has not been successful over the years, a situation which has made the people to resort to going to neighboring communities to seek orthodox and unorthodox medical attention.
The condition of Agbede General Hospital is deteriorating daily. 1, no enough staff. 2, no equipment. 3, I don't think the doctor stays in Agbede, he stays in Aviele, that is Ugioli. And when there is an emergency situation, somebody have to handle the situation. Presently, most of the sick people, both those giving birth, they go to health centers, quack hospitals. So government should come to our aid to come and improve the hospital.
When I was going I know that hospital was the best hospital when Gbomudia constructed that hospital. Every facility you think of, with mortuary and everything, doctors' quarters and all that, they were all there.
We've written series of letters. We wrote many letters before. We even sent letters to the government. We copy all the chiefs, the clan heads in Ayele clan, none of them, everything turned upside.
They further stated that the youths haven't tried their best to put parts of the facility in shape over the years, want the hospital management board or the state government to intervene in bringing the public health facility back to its glory.
We want government to intervene to take care of the hospital, which is it can come back again at the general hospital. They have been try, but the things are there now. They are very, very bad. Look at the ground, and even the hospital need a surgery doctor.
Agbede General Hospital was built by Samuel Ogbemudia to serve the quality health needs of residents of Agbede and adjoining communities. But the people here said it's like the state government is playing politics with the hospital, hence the abandonment. Renovation has been going on in other health facilities in the local government area, while the authorities look the other way in the case of Agbede. Nafisa Bello, Trust TV News, Benin.
The last may have been heard since the signing of Students' Loan Bill into law by President Bola Tinubu. Reactions continue to trail the effectiveness of the law and ability of students to repay the funds. Professor Lawang Abubakar, Bauchi Zone Coordinator of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, told Trust TV that the loan will impose a lifetime burden on students who could not secure white-collar jobs after graduation. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
Last month, President Bola Tinubu signed into law the Student Loan Bill that provides interest-free education loans for Nigerians who cannot afford to pay fees in tertiary institutions. Nigerian students who access the loan will pay in installments in 2 years after completing the National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) program, while some students said the loan repayment can be very difficult for lack of jobs. Others feel it can be repaid.
In the law guiding the loan, he said that the student will pay it after securing a job. To those who read the bill, they will see that they said whether self-employed or civil or government job, their belief is that after 2 years of graduation, there must be a way that you are earning something in your life.
In this country, it goes a long way in alleviating some sufferings for the student. Looking at the fact that the school fees and other things are very expensive, so they can use the money to purchase some textbooks and other things that will be of help to them. So I think it's very important and it's very pivotal to the development and the growth of the students academically.
Coordinator of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU Bauchi Zone, Professor Lawan Abubakar, said the union will challenge the federal government on the implementation of the loan scheme.
You will be bedeviled by bills and at the same time serving students' loan scheme debt. It has become a problem, and the loan you keep paying throughout your life, you will not have anything. Throughout your life, you will be servicing loan and paying bills. And people have become hopeless in those countries to the extent of getting depressed and even committing suicide. We have seen that Germany and even the US had to write off some of these debts, and it has failed in Mexico. It was tested in this country.
Before signing the Students' Loan Bill into law, Nigerian students have been struggling with registration fees increment in universities, forcing a lot of them to abandon pursuit of higher learning. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Away from Nigeria, 15 people died and 4 are missing after torrential rain lashed the metropolis of Chongqing and swaths of southwestern China. China has for weeks been hit by extreme weather, from heavy rains to intense heat waves, the frequency of which is increasing as global temperatures soar. Residents in the capital, Beijing, and dozens of other areas have been warned to stay indoors as temperatures soar past 35 degrees Celsius. And in one of the deadliest natural disasters to occur in China so far this year, torrential rains in Chongqing this week killed 15 people and left 4 others missing. The heavy rains, mainly seen in the areas along the Yangtze River, have triggered floods and geological disasters, disrupting the lives of more than 130,000 people in 19 districts and counties. Meanwhile, the government on Wednesday morning dispatched a working group to Chongqing earlier to oversee disaster relief efforts. And with that, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.